Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. We got another one sent down to me from Dave up in Cleveland. This is Portside, it says Portside Brewery on the bottle, but Beer Advocate and Rate Beer is calling it Portside Distillery. And they're out of Cleveland, Ohio. And this is a double IPA. It says here 9.6%. And it's got it written on the bottle, but it's written in microscopic fucking font. So let me see if I can read what it says on the bottle. Yep, 9.6%. And it says IBUs are 100 plus. So this might be a little on the bitter side. And he did send down a little card here, but it doesn't have this particular one listed on here as a bottled on date. And I do not see it written on the label here anywhere. But anyway, and it's got something written on the side of the label, and it looks like it's different from the commercial description. So let me see if I can read that too. This 100 plus IBU handcrafted Imperial India Pale Ale is brewed with 4 separate hop additions using 4 different varieties of hops. This bold beer is heavily dry hopped during the middle of fermentation and again near the end of the process. Like a cannon across the bow, this ale will put hop heads on notice, and Man of War is a beer to be reckoned with. And while I got the glasses on, I'll look another time here, and I do not see anything. And we'll look at the bottle a little closer as we get to at the end of the review and see if there's anything on the bottling date. But we need to have that information, guys, and especially on the IPAs and the double IPAs when it was put in the bottle. We need to have that. Got to have it. 2015. Got to have it. Step up to the plate or get the hell off the field is the way I feel about it. I know that's an expensive piece of equipment, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just as important as a brew kettle if you're brewing this type of beer. My opinion. Alright, commercial description here says, Portside Man of War is as powerful as the great ship whose name it shares, made with a generous amount of hops from New Zealand, Australia, and America. This beer has a wonderful hop aroma and packs a punch at 9.6% ABV. Food pairings for this beer. Cuisine is barbecue. Cheeses are pepper, Monterey, pepper jack, sharp blue cheddar. Your more pungent cheeses, your stronger cheeses, and meat, game, grilled meat, and salmon. Glassware to snifter, tulip oversized wine glass. I got my Paris tulip glass. And according to this, it says can be cellared. I mean, it's 9.6. The alcohol will let this beer be cellared for many years, 5 to 10 years, but after 6 months you're going to end up with a malt bomb. You're not going to be able to taste all those hops. The beer will keep. Now if you like a malty IPA, cellar it as long as you want, but you're going to end up with that malt bomb after about 6 months. I personally don't like to cellar them. I like them as fresh as possible. That's why I will check for a date on the bottle when I come back for the final chug. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so keeping up with my 2015 rendition, I'm trying to keep them a little shorter. Nice hiss from the bottle. It's just a plain copper cap on this one. Into the glass we go. Down the center on the last half of the pour to generate a little head. About a finger and a half head on that pour. So deeper amber color. I can see the bulb right through it. Fairly clear beer. Few bubbles streaming up. Big soapy white head. Let's get a nose on this one. A lot of maltiness going on, and a little bit of alcohol on this one too, guys. For the amount of hops used in this one, it's not super hop forward. Now, that may be because of how old the beer is. I do not know. Like I said, we'll check for a date on the bottle when I come back. A lot of malt going on. I mean, and to me, without knowing dating or anything on it, I would say this beer is at its shelf life or a little bit beyond. A little bit of citrusiness in there. Now the hint of some pine and maybe some grapefruit. But the maltiness is standing out more than anything else. So, as you can see, the head is dissipated already. About a finger of head on it now. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Dave. Very malty. And the alcohol is definitely there, guys. It's not hidden very well. A lot of IBUs with 100 plus IBUs. But that's normally the case when they're brewing a double IPA, which takes a lot of barley and malt to produce a beer of this magnitude. So they really need to step up and do some massive hopping if they want to have a nice IPA. It's going to have a nice floral or citrusy or whatever type of hop profile they're after there. Definitely malty and a tad boozy, guys. And I'm going to take a quick look at the bottle and see if I see any hints of any kind of dating on it. And I do not. So your guess is as good as mine on this one. And I've told you this before, guys. They do this. There's several reasons why they don't date it. First off, they can't afford the dating machine, or it's a pricey machine and that they don't want to invest in that. Second of all, when they do not date, that gives their beer a longer shelf life. So unsuspecting suckers, as myself or whoever the case may be, goes in and says, oh, not had this or not seen this before, and you pick it up. Well, when you get it home and you open it up and you pour it in and it's a malt bomb and it's supposed to be a double IPA, you're kind of led to this side to say, that's not very impressive, or this is way maltier than it should be for the hops that should be in this beer. Two things happen there. First thing happens is, well, maybe it's an old bottle. How are we to know without a date on it? The second thing is, you've got an IPA and you have no idea what the shelf life is. Maybe they're intended to be a little maltier. And then again, maybe they're just wanting to extend that shelf life. So whatever the case may be, whether they can't afford the dating machine or choose not to purchase a dating machine, or they want to extend the shelf life, which is what they do a lot of times, the end result is you buy a beer that you're not crazy about. The brewery loses additional sales because you won't buy the beer again, and you're stuck with a beer that is a malt bomb that you won't buy, you won't pick up again. So the brewery is losing additional sales, and you're unsatisfied with the beer that you purchased for them. So let's see where it ends up. I don't want to ramble on. I told you I was going to try to cut back on that this year. We'll sip on it just a little bit, but so far it is super malty. There is no date on the bottle, and we'll see where this one ends up. Not super impressed right now. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. The other half loved it, of course. She likes these bigger beers. Now this warmed up, it's got a little more floral hot presence than it did when it was cold. But still, there is no bottling date on the bottle. I've looked everywhere. And the card that Dave sent me doesn't have this beer listed on there, so we have no idea how old this beer is. Whether they choose not to or can't afford to put a bottling date on it, especially on the bottles, whether they date the 6-pack cartons or the case, whatever it may be, or whether they don't date anything at all. I do not know. I cannot get this particular brewery here in Virginia, but they do need to step up to the plate and date the bottles so we'll know. If I was able to get this beer here and I seen it on the shelf and I picked it up and it had no date on it, you know what I would do? I would put it right back up on the shelf for somebody else to come along and purchase. The double IPAs and the IPAs need to have that information, whether it's on the label or something digitized on the bottle. We need to know. I mean, if they're going to brew the IPAs and the double IPAs, they need to invest that machinery. It's just as important as the brewing kettle as far as I'm concerned. So thanks to Dave for sending this one down to me, but if I had my option of choosing this beer off the shelf here in Virginia with no date, I would not choose it. It is a decent beer. It is a well-crafted beer, so they do need to step up to the plate and invest in that equipment and put the date on the bottle. Final chug. Don't want to leave none in there. This is very malty, guys. It does have some hot presence to it, which tells me it's at the end of its shelf life, or maybe just a little past its shelf life. To me, just my opinion. For a double IPA with this many hops, New Zealand, Australia, and the American hops brewed in the brewing process on this beer, it should have a little bit bigger hop profile for the 100+ IBUs that they're saying this beer has. So, definitely appreciative to Dave. He has no control over the dating on these bottles. I mean, it's a pleasure for me to receive these beers from Dave and the other guys that send these beers to me to get to try something that I've not had before. But I do want to harp on the dating process because I do that very well, and I will continue to do that in 2015 till everybody has a date on their bottles, not on the 6-pack, not on the case, or whatever the case may be, or any kind of digitized Julian code or whatever. It doesn't take any more effort for the dating machine to print the month, day, and a year as it does to print some kind of funky code. Just my opinion on that, guys. They need to put a legible date code on the beer, month, day, and year on this particular style. If it's a stout, imperial stout, they can get away with a year. But on the IPAs and the double IPAs, it kind of needs to have, and I prefer the bottle on date instead of an enjoyed by date. I don't want to be limited to what the brewer thinks I should have it by, because a lot of the brewers will have a 3-month, 4-month, 6-month shelf life on the beer, and I want the beer as fresh as I can get it instead of what they think I should have it by. That's another reason why Stone has done their Enjoy By series, Enjoy By right on the front of the label in big letters. I don't know if I had any influence in that, but I'm taking credit any damn way. Anyway, back to this beer. Very nice beer, not knowing the date on the beer. I'm going to grade it accordingly. I think it's more maltier than it should be for a double IPA. Not having the date, I have no idea, guys. So, as far as I'm concerned, if it had a date on it, I would probably give it to B+. But it doesn't have a date on it, and as malty as it is, I'm going to give it to B. So, we're going to give it to 6 out of 10. Portside Brewing or Distillery, however you want to call yourselves. It's a good beer, but I'm sure it's a great beer, fresher. And not knowing the freshness of the beer, I'm grading it accordingly, guys. So We're going to give it to 6 for me. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 83 in a good range. If I was putting a numeric code or not code, I don't do codes, numeric rating on this beer, it would probably be pretty close to that, somewhere between an 83 and an 85, guys. So over to Beer Advocate, Rate Beer. Rate Beer says no score requires more ratings. So I don't know whether this is a new beer for these guys, or it has such a small distribution, not enough guys have reviewed this beer or commented on this beer to have a rating on it. It only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only has 5 people that have commented and give ratings on this beer. So I don't know how many they need to actually put up a rating for their beers. But with only 5 different guys chiming in on this beer, it doesn't have an overall on that. So it is what it is. This beer is out of Cleveland, Ohio. So once again, Dave, thanks a bunch, guy. I did see that you got your beers that I sent to you, and I hope you enjoy every one of them. Cheers, my friend. If you had this one from Portside Brewery or Distillery, let me know what you think, guys, and let's see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.